God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
This is Yoko. She is an ambitious young woman in her early 30s. Every day, Yoko travels by train from her house to her office. However, today is Yoko's first day at work after a week-long leave. As usual, Yoko leaves from her house to catch her 8 a.m. train. The road is quite empty in the morning, except for a few enthusiastic joggers. Yoko smiles at them, but none of them notice her. Yoko isn't surprised. In a room full of animals, Yoko would consider herself to be a fly on the wall. Tiny and, well, just there. She soon reaches the station and is waiting for her train when an unusual-looking man approaches her. Psst, the man calls out. Yoko ignores him. Psst, the man calls out, louder this time. Do you want to buy a bubblegum? The man asks politely and pulls out a large pink bubblegum from his pocket. No, thank you. It's supposed to be good for your gums, you know. But that's when the train arrives and Yoko quickly hops in and leaves. The next day, Yoko is on her way to the station when suddenly the road is blocked by a yellow bubblegum procession. As Yoko waits for it to pass, a woman from the procession hands her a pamphlet, which reads, "The juiciest bubblegum of all. Just one bite to cleanse your breath forever." That's when the man reappears. If I were you, I would never buy that gum. What a scam. You will have to eat at least 4 packs to see some results. Whereas this one, just once a day. No, I'm good, sighs Yoko. Isn't it scary, not having a bubblegum when everyone else is? Asked the man in a heavy voice. No, slams Yoko and leaves. A few minutes later, as she is sitting in the train overlooking the morning cityscape, Yoko nervously asks herself, is it, in fact, scary? That night, before going to sleep, Yoko glances over her parents' photos, both happily chewing the pink bubblegum in almost all of them. Yoko holds on to one of the frames as she gently drifts off to sleep. As Yoko waits for the train to arrive, her eyes fall on a kid who is watching a video on his phone. Years ago, the bubblegum was a mere cohesive substance created for man's taste buds, but today it has been turned into a unit of hatred and division. Don't watch crap like that, the mother yells and snatches the phone away. Seems like a beautiful day to buy a bubblegum, no? Asks the man. I am not interested, yells Yoko. Are you sure? Look, I've tried this bubblegum before and I did not like it. I am aware, but that's why I'm giving you the premium version. This one's more elastic and the taste is more, how do I put it, contemporary. Fine, says Yoko, and she eats the pink bubblegum. I don't like it. It's still too sour and the texture is too hard. Makes it very difficult to chew. But that's the beauty of it, says the man, clenching his teeth. I don't think so, and Yoko spits out the bubblegum. The man doesn't respond. He just plasts on a big, fat smile. Of course, it's your choice. I would never force you, he says as Yoko gets into the train. Just remember, millions of people die every day of a heart attack. And the train door shuts. Yoko is frozen. She can't believe her ears. His words hit Yoko differently. They remind her of the heart attack her dad endured a few weeks back, which is why Yoko had taken a week-long leave in the first place. Then suddenly a thought pierces through her heart. Was her dad's situation somehow her fault? Was it a punishment for abandoning the bubblegum? She starts spiraling down the wormhole of all her dark thoughts. Every missed opportunity, every ugly fight, and every painful goodbye. She connects it all to a single choice: not having the bubblegum. That night, Yoko barely gets any sleep. She wakes up feeling weak and exhausted. She ends up losing an important pitch to one of her colleagues. 3 days later, her boss yells at her for slacking at work. The early morning joggers still don't notice Yoko, but now she's convinced that this too is because of the gum. Wherever she goes, all she can see is people selling bubblegum. Blue, red, yellow, all kinds, as if they are following her everywhere. And then, one night, Yoko suddenly gets 6 missed calls from her mother. Yoko's heart stops. She's convinced that something bad has happened to her father. She immediately calls back, but her mom doesn't answer. Yoko can't take it anymore. The bubblegum is way too powerful. She needs to find the man and make things right. Yoko storms out in search of the man, but he's already waiting outside her house with a bunch of people. As soon as she sees him, Yoko starts crying and kissing his feet. "I want the bubblegum. I want all of it. Yoko, please." The crowd behind him starts cheering. The man calmly hands her the gum and Yoko shoves it in her mouth. The man, good girl. That's when Yoko's phone starts ringing again. The man tells her to pick it up. "Yoko, where have you been? Your dad's reports have come out clear." Yoko starts crying in relief. "The power of the pink bubblegum!" a voice screams as the crowd cheers. The man breaks into a big fat smile. Yoko smiles back. But is she smiling or crying? You can't really tell. A few days later, Yoko is now sitting at her office desk. She carefully removes a piece of bubblegum from her mouth and replaces it with a new one. That's when she hears her boss yelling at the new intern. Later at lunch, she finds the same intern eating at the cafeteria alone. The boy looks phased. Yoko quietly takes her plate and sits next to him. Yoko. Psst. Boy. Yes? Yoko. Do you want to buy a bubblegum?